Most people know that running a business is a lot of work, but what some people don't realize, not all of that work is on your business.
Hello there, and welcome back to Small Business Connections, where people connect person to person. My name is Bruce Harrett. Joining me today are Peter Kelly, who's going to be handling the technical side of things, and our special guest, Lisa Schmidt. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Bruce. Thank you so much for this conversation.
Can you tell us, first of all, that networking question, what do you do for a living?
What do I do for a living? Well, it's hard sometimes to summarize what I do, and I think many people have this challenge. But what I've come to understand what I do and what I love to do is I really love to simplify and demystify personal and professional change for people. That could be in the workplace, how you show up, but it can also be a team. How do we actually start creating the things we want to create? We might have a strategic plan, but we don't know how to get there. So I really help people simplify the path and demystify the steps that it takes to get there.
And how do they benefit from that? What do they get from that?
Well, I think the first thing is the anxiety goes down, because often when we're in processes of change, we kind of have an idea of where we want to go, but once we get started, the road is actually a bit bumpier and a little less visible ahead of us. And I think the one thing that people get in working with me is I really help them see a little bit further ahead than they might be able to do on their own if change is a new path forward for them. But the other thing that they get is a real understanding of how they themselves to change in order to help their teams and their organizations change as well.
Okay, so you maybe are a blind spot spotter? Would that be right?
There you go. There we go.
Okay, so have you got some practical advice for our viewers today from your experience? Yeah.
I do, yeah. Thanks for asking, Bruce. We spend a lot of time at work, and the latest data says that up to 70% of employees are not really engaged in the workplace. And my view is that before we think of ourselves as employees and workers, we really need to think of who we are as people and how we take care of ourselves, so that when we're in the workplace, we're bringing either what's best of who we are or our strengths to the workplace. So it sounds basic and simple, but I think it often comes down to, are you getting enough sleep? Are you having good relationships in your personal life? Are you having a relatively good diet? Are you participating in social activities that involve not only being with people, but doing interesting things and growing and learning? So I hesitate to even call it advice. I think I would call it an invitation that if you're going to be really focusing on the things that matter to you at work, that your first duty is duty of care to yourself.
Wonderful, and I absolutely agree. It sounds like you're more of a holistic coach in terms of your approach. You don't just look at the problem that's right in front of you, but dealing with the person, you look at their whole life and make sure that they're taking care of themselves. That's excellent. That's excellent. Now, we always ask our guests if they have an ask, because this is your platform to put out an ask, and we're going to put your email address. You can ask anything you want, and the entire, the entire world, right, Peter?
The internet is ours to explore. So
it's wide open, so you can make a request of something that you'd like to learn about, for example. Got anything like that?
Yeah, and it's such a generous offer that you're both making, because many of us who are working either on our own or in our own small businesses, part of what we do is the work that we do, but part of it is also being visible and reaching out and making connections. And I'm really curious to know how people leverage social media, but particularly from a visual standpoint. So for instance, when I go on Instagram, I see a lot of people who have like a background of a person or a tree or something and a quote that can be quite powerful, right? It could be a quote from a famous person. It could be a quote from something that maybe they've written a book and it's a highlight. But I'm really not sure how to best invest my time and energy and creativity in social media when it comes to more visual representations of the people I'd love to engage with.
Okay, viewers, what is the most effective way to create and use visuals on social media? Please let us know in the comments.
So thank you so much for being on the
Oh,
program.
please, the pleasure's mine, and I'm deeply grateful not only that we've had this conversation, but that you're doing this. I think it's so important to start having these kinds of conversations. We're all trying to make the world at least a teeny bit better than it is right now, and being able to talk about how we're each contributing and in both of your roles, I think is hugely important. So I'm deeply grateful. Thank you
Oh,
both.
thank you.
Oh,
Thank you. It's
thank you.
very, very kind of you.
This only works if people actually engage and participate. So, which actually brings me to the last thing. If anybody's interested in being on the show, if you're a business owner or a professional, reach out, email me. My email will be underneath my name here, and I'd love to hear from you.
That's it. And I guess we're going to wrap up now. So thank you for watching again, and we'll be back very soon. We're going to be posting on a fairly regular basis online and improving visibility for people like Lisa and visibility for people like us. So take care now. Bye now.